Alright, so now we're just going to put in the exterior walls for this model. So basically, let me go ahead and get this set up. I'll go to my plan A1, I'll close my inactive views, and then I'll go to my south elevation, and I'll do WT, ZA, and so I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this guy, and then I'll zoom in a little bit on this guy. So basically we're going to do an orthogonal version of this. Let me go ahead and go to wireframe so you can sort of see it goes through that guy. We're going to do a wall that starts from A1 and goes up to the roof level, and we'll adjust the roof level later to accommodate the top of that wall. So basically we want to come in here and we want to draw a wall that goes from the elevation base here to the elevation base here. So Revit gives us the option of going in and picking a wall type. And so if you go to your Architecture tab, go to the Wall pull down, go to Wall Architectural, you can go to the Type selector and go to the pull down. And what I want you to select is the exterior, generic exterior 12-inch wall. So we're just going to use this guy. And if I left click on it, you'll see there's a whole series of options up here. It has a height that's unconnected of 20 feet. We don't want that to be unconnected. We want it to go to roof A. It's actually starting at base constraint A1, which is level A1, because we're in plan A1. So it does that automatically for us. And then the location line is like where you pick, where is that location line? And I'm just going to put this guy to the finish face exterior. Okay. And now I can go in and I can create this wall. So I'm going to come and I can zoom in, and I'm just going to pick at the left corner, top left corner of this, and I'm going to drag to the right. Okay. And you can see it's justifying on the exterior of that wall, and it has to do with the direction I'm drawing. And I'm just going to left click here at the end, and you're going to see that wall come in, and it wants to draw another one. So I'm going to hit escape once to stop the chaining. And you can see that wall coming in up here, and so it goes from the base up to roof A. Now I want to draw a wall on the other side, and if I do that, I can come in and left click here on the exterior and draw back. Right? Now one thing I want you to notice is I could come in and just left click here, but I want to show you one thing, so I'm just going to hit escape a couple of times. And I'll go to wall again. And if I were to come here and draw to the right, it would justify the other way. And so if you ever get in the situation where it's justifying differently than you want it to, hit the space bar. And it will now flip that around that the location line. So I'm just going to draw that. Hit escape a couple of times to stop that. And if I go to my 3D view, you'll see I have two walls, right? And then if I want to bring those walls down, so this 45 is a little high for the roof, we can actually bring it down a little lower, right? If we wanted it to be at sort of the top of what I might think is the top of the wall. But I'll just come in and change this. What about 35 feet? Right? Oh, look, that's exactly where it is. And so now you can see it's brought those walls. So the bottom of the wall is hosted to A1 and the top of the wall is hosted to roof. Okay, so now let's do some of the interior walls. So I'm just going to come over here and close this 3D up for us and sort of zoom out in our floor plan. And if we look at the interior walls, these guys, you can figure out how big they are by doing a measure. There's actually a measure up here, right? Measure between. And you can pick that and it will come in and measure. So that's a 6-inch wall, right? And so let's go ahead and do, that's an exterior wall, so we'll do that. Let's just go ahead and go to wall. And if I go to the pull down, you see exterior 12-inch. Let's see if we've got a 6-inch. There's an exterior 6-inch. So let's just go ahead and pick that guy. And for this one, maybe we'll change the location line, and I'll show you a different way. So if I go to wall center, it actually will find the center of that wall and draw it in, right? And then let's go ahead and I'll flip it back to finish face exterior. And since it's going the wrong way, I'll flip the space bar. And I put a 6-inch wall in there, but that doesn't really matter. I can just pick it and flip it out for the 9-inch wall. Now, it's going to grow in the direction I want to because that location line is actually set to the exterior. If I came in and reset it, I'll show you how important the location line is. So I'm going to reset it to the wall center line, and you'll see that little blue dot pop to the center. If I had it set at the center and I flipped it between the 6 and the 9, it would grow equally and I would have to move it. So having it set to the finished face exterior is very useful if you're just flipping the walls out. So that location line is actually pretty important, right? So now I've got that guy. This is a curtain wall, so we'll leave it alone. And then I'll come in, and these are interior walls, so that looks like a 6-inch wall, so we'll do that. So if I go to wall architectural, you can go to the pull down, and there's some interior walls down here. So let's just pick the 5-inch. We don't have a 6-inch. We can deal with that later, but let's pick the 5-inch and see how that works. And we'll use wall center line for these, and I'll just come in and kind of go to the centers, right? And I'm going to draw right through the doors. It doesn't really matter. The openings are not important. And that guy's much bigger, so maybe let's hit escape once, and I'll come in and put these walls in, right? Okay, and then this is a much bigger wall, and this one's a 6-inch wall probably, so it needs to be bigger, and this is probably a 9-inch wall, I'm just guessing. But we don't have a 6-inch wall, so that's okay, we can make one. So I'm just going to pick this guy, and again, we don't have a 6-inch interior wall, so I'm just going to go to the edit the type, and I can duplicate it and make a 6-inch wall. So I'm going to go to edit type, and I'm going to duplicate it. You may remember duplicating the views, but we can also duplicate walls. So I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to rename it to interior 6-inch. Click OK. And then I need to change the width, which lives in the structure. So I'm going to edit the structure and just change that 5 to a 6, and then click OK and click OK. And so now I've got an additional type, so I made a new type. Let's go ahead and create a new wall here. So I'll go to wall, go down to my interior walls, and let's do interior 9-inch. And maybe this one, instead of wall center line, we'll do finished face exterior, and make sure it goes to wherever it needs to go. And then we've got those guys. Now the main issue that I have now is that if I go to my 3D view, these guys are going all the way up to roof. So if I pick this wall, you can see that it has a base constraint of plan A1, which is great, and a top constraint up to level roof, which we do not want. We want all these to actually just go to our plan A2. So what I can do, and you can do this however you want, I can select all these walls, so I'm just going in and kind of picking all these walls that I want to make shorter, and I'm using the control key. And over in the properties dialog box, instead of top constraint roof A, I can bring that down to plan A2, right? And so now that guy is sitting down there at plan A2. Very quick to update. So now I have the top of these restricted to plan A2.
One of the great challenges in this.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is put in the curtain walls on the first floor. So we'll be right back to do that.